Here's a car associated with a time when drag racing and cruising the strip were considered cool. It's a 1955 two-door Mercury, and it represents an era in American automobile manufacturing when style was king.
It's the YBlock. It's a pretty popular motor. It's a 292 cubic inch, 4-barrel and duals, which was the best they had at the time. It's an oil bath air breather, so there's no element to change. You just change the oil in it when you do the oil change. Pretty simple, really. Very dependable motor. They use these engines well up into the 60s in dump trucks and school buses, and very, very tough engine.
With that kind of reliability built in, Mercury focused on some options that would turn heads.
Now the skirts are an option, they call it a cruiser skirt, and a lot of cars had it on back then. Again, they unbolt and it's just the car underneath, just to dress it up a little. And the spare in the back was an option as well. Continental kit, they call it. Some cars came with it factory, and this one, it would have been something you'd have to order extra. And to open it, to get into the trunk, or the gas tank, you pull this and pull that up out of the way. And that exposes obviously your tank and your lock for your trunk. Not the most practical, but they were interested in how it looked, I think, more than anything. And it does look kind of neat, I think, anyway. Pretty popular option. A lot of guys like those.
For some owners, even these options weren't enough, as they often chose to customize their vehicles in rather extreme ways.
It's done up like they would have done it up in the 50s or early 60s. Probably noticed that there's no handle. That was a popular thing to do, to shave, they call it shaving the car. Handles off, hood ornament off, sort of take the name off the car even sometimes, just to make it look different. And a lot of times there's a remote control now they're using or a secret button somewhere to pop the door open. Now this one doesn't have that yet, but it will have eventually. You just got to leave your vent window open, that's all. If they were going to race something, they would pop the plugs off the sides here, and just the raw exhaust would come out. There'd be no mufflers. It'd just bypass the exhaust system, basically. Just maybe a little more horsepower. Might win the race. Who would know, eh?
Most times when you buy a car this old, you don't get any paperwork. But this car has it all.
I would just say it's a cruiser, in my opinion. It's really not a muscle car. It's not going to win a big bunch of races. Maybe in its day it would have, but today there's a lot faster stuff around than this. But just a car to cruise around with, that's what they call them. No charge for the dice.
This stylish vehicle cruised with ease through the 50s, and with Pete's tender love and care, it'll keep on cruising.